Bienvenidos a este gameplay de The Stanley Parable, un juego donde vamos a hacer lo que tenemos que hacer y lo que no tenemos que hacer, porque lo que tenemos que hacer no es lo que tenemos que hacer. Si no entendieron, véanlo. Soy Crono.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Fin.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ya, empezamos a jugar. ¡Qué rápido! Ya, me agacho, no salto. Salí de la oficina.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Vaya, no puedo encontrar ni rastro de mis compañeros.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Creo que alguien me está diciendo que avanza hasta las salas de reuniones. Ok, ya entendí. Wow. Algo sonó, un pitito. Hola. Jefecito. Hito. ¿Y cuál es la sala? Están jugando solitario. Están jugando solitario. O estaban. Al 415.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yo voy contra el sistema, voy por la derecha.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Solo para admirar la sala de ya. Ok. ¿Cuál es la sala de empleados? ¿Esta? No quiero admirarla. Ya, admirémosla.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Wow. Estoy apreciando todo. Bueno, ya. Quiero una Pepsi.
Yes, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
¿Cómo lo supo?
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Ya.
It's
Me voy.
possible that, but at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nos vamos a la primera puerta a la izquierda.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Botón rojo. Impulse de idiotes. Ah, no. ¿A dónde me lleva esto?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Sí, creo que no hay más opciones.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake.
Okay.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Me la está viendo, me las quiere ver.
Let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes.
Ya,
I've got
perfecto.
it now.
¿Todo bien?
This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ok. ¿Y el auto? Vamos a la escalera entonces. Wow, ¿qué es esto?
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
No,
this
está bien.
time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Esto es como la Matrix. Vale.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, busquemos el memo en la sala de reuniones.
When Stanley...
¿Qué?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere?
No, me eches la culpa a mí.
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
Exacto.
It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Perfecto. Este es la misma habitación. Y espérate. Hasta me dijo por la izquierda, ya vamos por la izquierda. Que conecta con la otra habitación. Lógico. Ok. Cuadros.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Vale. Fijémonos en la hora. ¿Esa es la hora real? Voy a comprobarlo. No es la hora real.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, voy a ver si perdí algún memo.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ok, me parece bien. A lo mejor aquí hay un memo. Oh. Yo no fui. Mejor es que haya guardado antes. ¿No se puede apagar este, no? Eso. 457.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Ya. Ya.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
No.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
Gracias.
Oh, no. No, I don't feel bad about this. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations.
Como la vida misma.
I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
No era necesario si había ganado. Dale.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Sigamos la línea amarilla.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa.
¿Qué?
Hang on, that got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Ahora me siento más animado.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
¿El helecho?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Ok. Ok, sí. Recordado, listo. Ok. Vamos. Lo tengo.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
No. Historia. Otra vez.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
No. Y se me quedó aquí en el computador. No, tal vez no. Ya, ¿qué me vas a contar esta
You
vez?
know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Y si no quiero... Tal vez si me devuelvo... Tal vez yo sé cuál es la historia. ¿No? Ah, ok, sigamos entonces, no hay mucho más.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Quiero dulces, chocolate. Y...
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ok. Pero no hay más camino, pues. Sigamos la línea entonces. Y la música, quiero la música de nuevo. Chao, línea.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control.
Muy bien.
How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
No la
In
arruinemos.
fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which
Lógico.
means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
Me
So
parece
starting
lógico.
from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Yo quería a la izquierda.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
¿Qué?
That's really how all this goes?
Después de tanto tiempo, Stanley muere.
Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean... did we do it?
Lo hicimos, lo
Did we
hicimos.
break the cycle?
Eso, no hice nada.
Whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay.
Ok.
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
¿Qué? Dale.
All of his co-workers were gone. Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Wait. Y esto se es como el día de la marmota.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
¿Esa era la reunión?
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Vaya, vaya.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Suena un teclado, pero no aprieto nada. O sea, aprieto, pero no hay teclado. Brute closet. Armario.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Tal vez sí hay algo por aquí.
There was nothing here.
Ya, ok, no hay
choice
nada,
to
no hay
make, no path to follow. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vamos arriba, a ver, hagámosle caso. La mea oficina. Ya, se nota el cambio. Sí, aquí está el jefe.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Maldición, no hay vida humana.
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Tengo una mira ahora. Dos, 8, 4, 5.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2, 8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Igual voy abajo.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Esto nunca había pasado en tantos años. ¿Qué significa esto?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escapé. Vamos a lanzar el control mental, a ver.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
¿Me puedo tirar por ahí? No, no lo voy a hacer. Cámaras. Notas.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Dios mío. Oh my god. Ascensor.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Es
Had
imposible.
he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
No puede ser, Dios mío. No puede ser.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Pero está desconectado. Voy a desmantelar esta máquina de una vez por todas. ¿Así? ¿Qué números ya? A ver. 1 2 2 2. Hay otro. Y aquí el 4 también. 3. 4. Y ahora llegar al 5 nomás. Y veamos qué pasa. Porque voy a desmantelar todo este lugar para que nadie más sea controlado mentalmente. Y 5. No pasa nada. Va. Ok.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Muy bien. Fin.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
¿A dónde fueron mis
How had he
compañeros?
been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold?
¿Qué otros misterios
But
guardan?
as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Oh, qué lindo. Bueno, gente, esto fue una de las primeros finales de Stanley Parable. Espero que les haya gustado. Es loco, lo sé. Creo que hay muchas opciones que uno puede encontrar todavía. Así que vamos a ir sacándole de a poquito de vez en cuando. Y eso, ojalá que les haya gustado. Eso fue todo. Adiós.
With that example,